Right. So there's only about a handful of people that I know of that are fishing cutcliffs as dry flies. And cutcliffe, definitely, I don't think he ever intended to fish these dry. There's been some improvements, obviously, in the last couple hundred years. Hooks tempered, very strong and thin and light, can afford us a lot of things that we weren't not able to get away with back in the 1800s. And also the floating that we have today, the space age kind of silicone floating and stuff, is just something that they just would have dreamed about and never really had the opportunity to use. So, putting that all together, that's why this fly works. And I think the design of it is such that it does look very much like an emerging bug. It kind of sits like this in the water, and these fibers kind of kick up like that. Then you just have this nice wing up at the top. It just looks like a bunch of stuff happening all at once, and you can see that body through the top. It looks very prone, and it looks like something that the fish would kind of acknowledge as, oh, this is a mayfly that's trying to get out of the water and can't. So I think that's why this fly works. And the reason I developed this fly in the first place is I was fishing in the Rocky Mountain National Park area, and I saw these giant mayflies coming off, and I was like, what in the world is this? And I managed to catch one, and it was a Flavenius green drake, and I'd never seen one before up close. So I managed to catch it, put it in my hand, and I was like, oh, this thing is cool. It's got a real tall wing and a nice short, kind of stout body. I was like, yeah, this would probably be pretty good as a cutcliffe. I could probably tie these in a size, like a size 12, and I could get them to maybe be like a bob fly. That was the plan. It did not work out that way. I didn't actually get to fish these again. I went home that night. I tied 6 of them, put them in my fly box, and I left them alone. And I didn't get to fish them until June of the following year, when I went to a fishery that has a lot of drakes, a lot of brown drakes, a lot of green drakes, a lot of gray drakes, although gray drakes don't really factor into this because they don't hatch the same way. But in any case, these particular drakes were the brown drakes and the green drakes, and I tried to dib the bob first. These fish are so spoiled for choice. I mean, they had enormous amounts of food, and they were really ignoring anything that was moving, anything that might escape them. They really just wanted an easy meal. And I couldn't get them to bite. I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't have any drakes at all except for these. And I thought, I was like, well, I did tie these on a dry fly hook. Maybe I could fish these as a dry. I mean, at least temporarily, And so I did. And I put some floating on it, and first cast, boom, fish. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, maybe that was a fluke, maybe it wasn't. Next one, boom, again. And the whole evening, I mean, the entire day was like that. It was just, from that point on, I was catching fish, and they were all on this fly, and I could just put it in there, dead drift it, and they would slam it. So it was very surprising to me. I did not expect that at all. I didn't expect it to be that good of a reaction. I was like, okay, I might be onto something. So I just started to tie them up, and I messed around a little bit with the colors and everything. But the main color was always an olive mixed with a little bit of red. So I noticed that the drakes, especially the Flavenius drakes, are kind of like a dirty kind of brownish color as they're coming up. And the emerger color anyways. And that seemed to work pretty well. And the name came afterward. The name was not something that I had planned. I didn't really have a name for it for a while. And then one day I was fishing this, and I kind of just took a look at it. I was like, huh, that really does have just a gray hackle and a brown body, because when that gets in the water, man, it just turns brown. And that's when I remembered that in this book right here, With Rod and Line in Colorado Waters, that was written in 1884 by Louis B. France, he talks about a fly very nondescriptly. I think it might have been a wet fly. And in this book, he talks about the brown body gray hackle, and how, man, that, as long as you have a brown body and a gray hackle, you can't go wrong. Like, it's the, as bread is to man, so is the brown body gray hackle to fish. And man, I was like thinking, you know what? I'm pretty sure what he was fishing was not a dry. But if this doesn't define exactly the fly that I'm fishing right now, I don't know what does. So that's how this fly got its name, because of the first book ever written about fly fishing in Colorado, and the fly that he mentions in that book numerous times, brown body gray hackle. Now, I have messed with this a little bit, and I'll show you some of the experimentations that I've done with this. This fly here is a combination of a couple of things, right? So this is, I've tied it in the same Cutcliffe style with the hackle facing backwards, right? And then this is the bend. It's a bit of a bend on this hook. This is a Fulling Mill FM 1270, which is a living larva, right? And so this kind of has a bend downwards, which is nice. And I've tied the Cutcliffe style of the hackle, and then I just clipped a little bit underneath just to kind of reveal the body. And up above, I've tied two feathers, two CDC feathers that I've kind of clipped as wings. And that's my emerger body. And this is more for a fly that you would use, let's say, in faster water, in more, in turbulent water where, you don't want it to sink. And the problem with these flies in particular, problem with the Cutcliffe caddis fly, the problem with the Cutcliffe in general is that they do tend to sink if they're waterlogged, right? And it doesn't take much to get them sink. So this should help with that little situation, in case I ever do have that situation. And I think that it'll work nicely. I haven't tried it yet, but I will let you know. Now, that is a neat little fly. I think that will do really well. Just same principle. Just added a little bit of fluff to the front there. Now, the nice thing about what I've been doing with this is I've been casting it with a very light line. And what I mean by light line is I've been using a fluorocarbon casting line and then a length of nylon line, which is like usually around 5x. And so because of how light this is, I can present this extremely gently onto the water. And it helps this float a lot longer. In particular when it's already waterlogged. I can get this to sit on the water with very little floating. I can get it to just sit right on the water. I can just let it flutter down, right? And it just flutters down to the surface. And it's nice to be able to do that. And I'm doing this with both tenkara and also with a Euro-nymphing rod, an 11-foot Euro-nymphing rod that's a fast tip, but mid-flex, right? And that particular rod allows me to cast level line extremely well, very much like I would cast it on a tenkara rod. So I kind of have a little bit of the benefit of both, right? I have the length of the rod. I have the ability to cast this very lightly, very gently. This comes in handy for a lot of dry flies, a lot of dry fly presentations. I can lay that down on the water in a in an ungodly gentle way, which really makes it a fantastic way of presenting any dry in particular. I wish they could make it float a little bit better than fluorocarbon does, but it is extremely gentle and it lands on the water without really breaking the surface too much. So that I'm sure that helps. I'm sure that helps the presentation. But I think you could probably get away with this on a regular rig, on a regular heavy line, as long as you're pretty good at casting. But that's it. Those are my thoughts on it. I would love to hear experiences of people tying these up in different color format, in different shades, different sizes. I've tied it down to about a size 16. Sometimes an 18 I can get away with, as long as it has a longer shank. I have something to work with. And this fly seems to do pretty well with just about any mayfly pattern. Also works great for caddis as well. So give it a shot. Tie these up, enjoy it, and let me know what you think. And leave me a comment if you do catch some fish with it. I'd be curious to see where you're catching them and what colors you've ended up using for them. So have at it, y'all. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for listening to me go on and on. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'll keep making them as long as you keep watching. Thanks.